So, starting off with this problem. What is important? What's important in this word problem?
4,000.
The 4,000.
Maximum.
Maximum number, okay. What else?
$254.12
Each, that word each, that's important. Okay, so how we're going to set this one up. We've underlined the important things. We know what we're solving for. We know we're solving for the maximum number of tablets that she can buy. So we're going to start putting this into an inequality. So we have $4,000. And then the tablets that she would like to buy cost $254.12 each. What is the maximum amount she can buy? So $4,000 is how much money we have, right? And this $254.12 is how much we're spending. So the amount of money I have and the amount of money I'm spending are always going to be on opposite sides of an inequality. Okay? The $254.12 is actually being multiplied by the amount of tablets, but we don't know how many tablets there are, do we? That's what we're solving for. So we need to insert a variable in this equation. What variable do we want to use? X? Okay. So 254.12x. And now I need an inequality symbol. So they're saying less than or equal to. Raise your hand if you agree with that. Raise your hand if you think it should be greater than or equal to. Yeah, so it should be, since we put x on that other side, this one actually should be the 4,000 eating it. So we should have put x on the left, but that's okay. We could flip it. We want our $4,000 to be greater than or equal to the amount of tablets that we're buying. Okay? So, the amount of money that we have is greater than what we're spending here. We don't want to spend more than what we have. How would I solve this? Divide. Type that in a calculator, and what do you get? 15.7. Okay, so we have our inequality here, but they asked what is the maximum number of tablets she can buy. Can she buy 15.7 tablets?
No.
No, you can't go to a store and buy 0.7 of an iPad, right? They're just going to laugh at you. So how many tablets can we buy? 15. Okay. You get where I'm coming from. So when the problems start to get harder, we can use the same strategy though, right?
I know.
Yeah. You're good. All right. Sergio and Lizeth have a very tight vacation budget. They plan to rent a car from a company that charges $75 a week plus 25 cents a mile. How many miles can they travel during the week and still keep within their $200 budget? Okay, so try that same strategy that we just used. So what your spending is going to be on one side, the amount of money that you have, or your income, is going to be on the other. Okay, so we'll start off by underlining what we know, what's important. What do we think is important in this?
$75.
Yep, the $75 a week. What else? 25 cents a mile. And what are we solving for here? Yep. How many miles to keep within their? Yep, $200 budget. Good. Anybody got a good guess on how we set this one up?
200 is greater than or equal to 75 plus 25 cents X.
Okay. So I'm going to put the $75 plus the 25x on this side. just so we can get used to writing the variable on the left. I kind of did that wrong in the last one. You're good though. We have the $200 on the other side. And then what do I have here? Greater than or a less than symbol? Dividing these. Less than or equal to, right? Because why? Yeah, I only have $200. So I don't want to spend more than $200. Okay? The $200 is the maximum there. So that is what is getting eaten. That is why that symbol is eating the 200. Okay? Now we can go ahead and solve this. How would we solve it? Good. 200 minus 75. 125. And then what? By what?
0.325.
Okay. And what is that? So x is less than or equal to 500. 500 what? Miles. So how many miles can they travel during the week and still keep within their $200 budget? 500 miles or less, right? They can't go over 500, but they can go 500 or less and still stay in their budget. Okay, example 3. Ramin's heating bill is $5.42 per month plus $1.08 per therm. How many therms can Ramin use if he wants his heating bill to be a maximum of $87.50? Anybody know what a therm is? I didn't either. I had to Google it. I really don't love this question because it's kind of different. No, it's like a term. It's like a... I'm waiting. I will wait. Are you looking it up for us?
Yes.
Okay. I could have just told you, but I'll let you look it up.
A unit of heat.
Yep, it's just a unit of heat.
Heater.
Okay,
It's not a heater, it's a unit.
let's get going on this. Ramin's heating bill is $5.42 per month plus $1.08 per therm. Underline what's important here. What else is important?
Maximum 8750.
Yep, that word maximum and 8750. Maximum of 8750. Okay. So he wants his heating bill to be a maximum of 8750. How many months is that going to be for that heating bill? Wouldn't it just be our monthly bill? So 1 month. Okay, so when it says $5.42 per month, we're not actually going to put a variable behind that because it would just be 1 month. And $5.42 times 1 is just going to be 1. Okay? So the amount of money I'm spending is just going to be that $5.42 plus $1.08 per therm. What variable do we want to use for that? X. Okay. 8750 is our maximum that we want to spend. So what sign needs to go between these two? Less than. Could it be equal to 8750?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could. So less than or equal to. And now just solve that one. So go ahead and use a calculator to solve that. Okay, solve this one for me. What do we get? 76. So you subtracted that 542 over, divide by 1.08. X is less than or equal to 76. 76 what? Therms. Again, it doesn't really matter what they are, but we know we need less than or equal to 76 of them. Cool. All right, this reference table, this is going to be a huge help. I would highlight, circle, star this or something. Just because if you get stuck on one and you don't know what sign is supposed to be where, this is a good reference. So greater than, you might hear it in a word problem as is more than or exceeds. Greater than or equal to might be is at least or is the minimum. Less than might be is smaller than or is lower than. And then we've got less than or equal to is at most or is the maximum. So this is a good little cheat sheet to use on your homework. Example 4. Go ahead and try to set this one up. Alright, so Felicity has a calligraphy business. She charges $250 per wedding invitation. Her monthly expenses are $650. How many invitations must she write to earn a profit of at least $2,800 per month? Okay. Let's go ahead and underline what we know is important. What's important here?
250.
Good. $250 per wedding invite. What else? $650. And what am I solving for here? How many invitations to earn a profit of at least, that might be important, $2,800 per month. Okay. Anybody got a good estimate on how to set this one up? Yep.
So you'll take 250, and that'll be your X
250x.
plus 650. Greater than or equal to 2850.
Raise your hand if you agree. Anybody get anything different? What'd you get?
Doesn't he want to profit 2,800
Yep.
and 650 is an expense?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to, wouldn't that be a negative 650?
So, let's look here. Yep. I would agree with that. So her monthly expenses are $650 and she earns $250 per wedding invitation. So he's saying that this should be a negative $650. Okay. Does that look better? Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. So our expenses are going to be subtracted from our earnings, right? To equal our profit. So that is how that one should be set up. What about the sign though? The greater than or equal to. Do we agree with that? It's in our table. At least is greater than or equal to. So you don't have to second guess that one. We want our profits to be greater than the minimum, what we're spending. Okay, let's solve this one. What do we do? Add 650. What's 2,800 plus 650?
3,450.
Okay. Now what? Divide by 250. Use the calculator. What do you get? 1,280.
That's 300.
380. Okay. All right. Example 5. Let's keep going. Brenda's best friend is having a destination wedding and the event will last 3 days. Brenda has $500 in savings and can earn $15 an hour. That's not supposed to be percent. $15 an hour. She expects to pay $350 in airfare, $375 for food and entertainment, and $60 a night to share the hotel room. How many hours must she work to have enough to pay for the trip? Okay. Go ahead and set that one up and solve it. You can work with somebody near you. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this one. I'm hearing some differing answers. What do we need to do here? Let's start with just what's important. What's important here? $500 in savings. Good. That seems important. What else? $15 an hour babysitting. Okay. What else?
$350 in airfare.
Yep.
$375 for food.
$375 for food.
$60 a night for share the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
3 days.
And then what am I solving for?
Wedding.
A wedding. Okay.
Oh, so now I have
What does the question say?
How many hours must you work to have enough money to pay for the trip?
Yeah, so we're looking for hours to have enough money to pay for the trip. Enough money to pay for the trip. Okay, so let's start with our positives. Let's start with the money that we have and that we are making. That $500, is that money that we have or money that we're spending? We have it, so let's put it on the left. $15 an hour babysitting. Is that money that we have that we're making, or is that money we're spending? Making. So we're gonna add that. 15. Do I know how many hours?
Nope.
No, that's what I'm solving for. So I need a variable. What variable do I want to use? Okay. The other side is gonna be money that we don't have, money that we're spending. So $3.50 in airfare. That's an expense. $3.75 for food. That's an expense. $60 a night. Well, if we're there for 3 days, how many nights is that? Did you guys do 3 nights or 2? It doesn't really matter. You did 3? Okay. It's kind of a weird worded question too. So we'll do 3 nights, so 60 times 3. Do I want the money that I'm making to be greater than or less than the money I'm spending? Greater than. So I need a greater than sign here. Could it be equal to the amount we're spending? Yeah, that'd be kind of unlikely to spend. Not unlikely, but it would kind of suck to spend all of your money on a vacation and have $0 left, but you could. Okay, time to solve now. The left side, I can get that down to a simpler number. If I just type that phrase in a calculator, 350 plus 375 plus 60 by 3, what do I get? You see a lot of calculators out.
1 million.
And it's not 1 million.
I'll tell you what it is.
It's not very close to that either.
Is it 3?
905 altogether.
905?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you subtract 500, it's 405.
Okay, so we get 905. Then he told me to subtract this 500. Good.
You get 405.
So 15x is greater than or equal to 405. Divided by 15. And x is going to be
Greater than or equal to 27.
to what?
27.
27. Okay. X is greater than or equal to 27. 27 what? Hours. So she needs to work at least 27 hours if she's trying to go on this trip.
Oh no. This is mad.
Are we doing this? The literal?
Okay, example 6. Set this one up. This one works just like the other one. Very, very similar. You can do it.
Whoa.
All right, tell me what's important here.
The numbers.
Obviously, what are they?
Hey,
180,
I got
450,
20.
49, 520, 30.
Hey, it all equals up to 11 points.
Oh, and 10 nights per trip, yeah, I
I
remember.
thought it equaled up to 20.
God.
What am I solving for here?
Solve for how many
driveways.
driveways.
How many driveways? Okay. So let's use that same strategy. Let's put all of the money we have and that we're making on the left. So our positive amount of money, what's that going to be?
520.
Yep, the 520 in savings plus
30x.
30x. You're making $30 per driveway. So X is the amount of driveways. Okay. The right side then is going to be our expenses. What are they?
180 plus 450 plus 49.
Yep. Gas, food, and then $49 per night.
Times 10, which is 400.
Good. So we times it by 10 because we're there for 10 nights. Is that it on that side? Okay.
1,100.
Hold on, guys. Pause here. Please raise your hand and tell me what sign is going to go in between these two. Raise your hand. Yes. You.
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to.
I'm so smart.
Good. You want the amount of money that you have and that you're making to be more than what you're spending. It's a good tip for life, too. Make more money than you spend. Okay, time to solve this one. Right side, what's that become? What's that simplified to, the right side?
1,100.
Okay. The left side, I don't have any like terms. Now what?
Minus 520.
Yep, subtract the 520. 30x is greater than or equal to. And last step, what do you get when you divide by 30? 20 what?
Driveways.
Driveways.
Who's paying 30 driveway? I need to go to this.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
All right.
But if it takes you like.
Questions on that one?
But you passed it.
Okay, so we are going to be doing literal equations now. So what you're doing is you're solving a formula for a specific variable, just like we solve regular equations, but there's going to be other variables involved. So as we can see, the first one, it says solve for h, but there's an r and a v and some numbers in there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we just want to box in the variable we're solving for. Box in that h. Highlight that h, circle the h, whatever you got to do to know that that's what we're trying to get by itself. Okay? I don't have any parentheses on this one, so I don't have to worry about distribution. But I do have a fraction. Okay? We don't like fractions. To kill this fraction, what do I need to multiply by? 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. When I do that, 3 times v is just going to be 3v. This 3 and 1/3 on the right side are just going to cancel out. If that was 1/3 plus pi r squared h, then I would distribute the 3 to both, right? But since it's one term written all together, being multiplied together, it's only going to that 1/3 in the front. Does that make sense? Okay. Next step. This is currently just pi times r squared times h on the right, right? Okay, so what I can do here is just divide by pi r squared on both sides, since we're multiplying. On the right side, they cancel. So just give me h equals 3v over pi r squared. Just leave it like that. And that's our answer. So that's the point of these. It's just to get all the other stuff on the other side, okay? The variables aren't going to disappear. They're not going to go away. You're just trying to solve for a different one. Okay. Go ahead and try this one on your own. It works pretty similar to the other. It's actually quite a bit easier. Okay, this one. What did we do here?
Times by 2.
Times by 2. Got to kill that fraction of 1/2. 2 times a? 2a. 2 times 1/2?
Cancels.
Just cancels to give me bh. Am I done yet? No. Divide by h, because we're solving for b. So b equals 2a divided by h. Leave it like that. Leave it like that. Okay, solving for f. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay. Okay, you're welcome to distribute first. We can totally do that, and I'll show you what happens if we do that. So 5/8 times f. Just 5/8 f, right? 5/8 times negative 32. Type that in a calculator. So 5 ABC 8 times negative 32. Yep, negative 20. Okay. To kill the fraction now, what do I need to multiply by? 8. So multiply by 8 on both sides. 8 times C, 8C. 8 times 5, 8's F.
Which is F.
We got to keep the 5. Yep, so 5 times 8 is 40, divided by 8 is 5F. And then 8 times negative 20, negative 160. Okay, so again, we're trying to get F by itself here. What should I move first? Add the 160 over. So 8C plus 160 equals 5F. Now what? Divide by F? Yep, divide by 5. Good. Divide by 5 on both sides. We end up with 8/5 C plus what's 160 divided by 5? Type it in a calculator. 32 equals F. And that's our answer. Real quick, one thing I want to talk about, and this is only if you saw it. If you didn't see it, it's not a big deal, because obviously we got the right answer here. But, hold on a second. If anybody remembers back to a previous section, I can't remember which section it was off the top of my head, I could look. We could kill the fraction first on this one. We can kill the fraction first on this one, and we can go ahead and multiply by 8 from the beginning. Okay, so we would end up with 8C equals, remember how I said these two numbers could multiply before we distribute it out? So that would just give me 5 times F minus 32. Then I would distribute out, I would get 5F minus 160 equals 8C, and I'd get the same answer, okay? So it works both ways. Honestly, on this one, I don't even know that the second way was much easier. It might have saved you a tiny bit of time, but either way, you'll still get the same answer. Okay, go ahead and give this one an attempt. You're perfectly capable of doing it. I would use that second strategy that we talked about on the first problem. I would kill the fraction before I distributed. That's what I would do. But go ahead and take a couple minutes and try this one. Okay, so first things first, I saw a lot of people got the first step on this one. What'd you do first? Killed the fraction. And so to kill that fraction, what'd you multiply by? 2. Good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. The left side becomes 2A. The right side, we knew we could simplify these out front before we distribute. 2 times 1/2 is just 1. So we end up with H times B plus B. Lowercase b plus uppercase b. We're solving for lowercase b.
Oh, so you can't combine them?
You can't combine them. Nope. They're two different cases. Can't combine the b's. Nope. Here's what we can do, though, from here. So let's say, for instance, that I had a problem, and this is not the same problem, but let's say that I had 2a equals x times y. Or we won't even say 2a. We'll say 2 equals x times y. If I was solving for x, what would I do here? I wouldn't subtract y. Divide by y, right? Because this x and y are both being multiplied by each other. Do we see that? If two things are being multiplied by each other, we can divide the other one over. Okay, so if we see that, aren't I just multiplying this h times this whole b plus b?
Yeah.
Yes, so what can I do here? Divide by h, good. I can divide by h on both sides. When I do that, I just get 2a over h equals b plus b. Last step on this one, if I'm trying to get lowercase b by itself. Subtract the uppercase b. So my final answer is just 2a over h minus capital B. Okay?
Can we do the next one on our own?
Can we do the next one on our own? Sure, go ahead and try it.
This one.
This one's pretty easy. This is an Algebra 1 problem. You have seen this before.
I don't remember if I did it.
You do?
Don't.
Well, you should. Try it. We'll go over it here in about a minute. Solving for y. First thing I'm going to do is box in my y. The first thing I want to move is the 8x, right? It's the furthest thing away from this. So how do I move the 8x over? Subtract the whole 8x. Close. So we got to move the x too. Okay? So now I have 7y equals 15 minus 8x. Is y by itself? No. What do I need to do to get it by itself? Divide by 7. Okay, the answer you get on that is y equals 15 minus 8x over 7. You could have left it like that. We could simplify it one more step though. So 15 divided by 7 is just 15 sevenths, correct? And negative 8x divided by 7 is just negative 8 sevenths x, correct? So I could have left it like that too. If I had to graph it, that's how I would want to leave it.
That's it? That's all the notes?
That is it for 1.7. That's it on Unit 1 notes.